Trowel Talk, what is going on?
Yeah, tonight we're launching the first of a series of live streams that we're going to be doing on Trowel Talk, and we're kicking off with the one and only Eric De Valmency. Eric's going to join us tonight, and we're going to have a bit of a chit chat about plastering, fitness, and the dreaded injuries as well. Eric's in a good position to talk through tonight because not only has he got a background in personal training and plastering, but he's also been on the tools for 37 years and he's injury free, so puts him in a good position to give us a bit of guidance really on how we can stay injury free, and also what are the best tools to use to reduce fatigue, stuff like that. Anyway, I hope you can all see and hear me all right. I'm going to aim to bring Eric on. We did a dummy run about 20 minutes ago, and it took us quite a while. Oh, here we go.
Here we are, mate.
That was faster, mate. That was a lot faster.
That was better. A little bit of practice.
Yeah, we had a practice run about 10-15 minutes ago, guys, and we had a bit of a mare joining Eric in on the live stream, but. Can you hear and see me okay, mate?
Yes, mate, absolutely.
Yeah, and you too. You're crystal clear, my end. So, Eric, nice one for joining, buddy.
No worries, mate. Pleasure.
I was just bigging you up and giving you a bit of an intro.
Oh, thanks, mate. I didn't hear it. I missed it. Nah.
Oh, well, this will save as a post, so you can have a scroll through a bit later and rewatch it all anyway. So that's the idea of this live stream, you see. So whatever we do tonight is going to be saved as a post. People can refer to it.
Oh, I bet
yeah, but so yeah, I was bigging you up, mate. So you got your YouTube channel that you're doing. You got your background in personal training, and obviously 37-year veteran behind the trowel as well. So
I wish I wasn't, mate. I wish I wasn't as old as I am.
Yeah, really excited to have you on tonight, buddy, and I'm sure you'll add value for a lot of the members that are watching, older and people just starting out. You're in a good position to pass down some knowledge. So, but we'll kick off, mate, just to talk a little bit about your YouTube channel, Ask the Plasterer, plasterer.org.uk. I'm a big fan, as you know. One of the reasons I started my own channel was through watching yours, actually. I really like what you do on there, and I admire you also helping out the up and coming channels as you do, you know, Anthony Parry, Joel and myself, and Alex Morley, although he don't need any help anymore, does he?
Well, no, he does.
He's absolutely smashing it.
I know, we've got to help each other up. So, well, that's why you got to be. That's why you got to help everybody, mate. Because if someone suddenly takes off, you need to be hanging on to their feet.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get behind them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been chatting with Alex this week, actually. Yeah. Me and Alex might be teaming up potentially on a job, so that'll make for good filming. But anyway, what was what was the inspiration, mate, behind you starting your channel? What made you decide to do that?
Well, when you look on my YouTube channel, it sort of says, "Oh, he's been a member since 2000 and something, like donkey's years ago." And I think, we ain't done that well in all those years. But basically, I got my YouTube channel. Put 2 videos on it and then didn't bother doing anything with it for absolutely years, and I just kind of carried on like I normally do. And then I thought, like, it would be a good idea, because I'd seen some other plastering channels start to sort of like pop up quite a lot on YouTube. I thought, come on, mate, you didn't really try last time. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go and see what happens. I think the most subscribers I ever had on that initially was 24 on there, and it never went up or down or whatever. Anyway, and then so I thought, right, start doing some serious videos, get myself a decent camera, and which is what I really bought a video camera for in the first place, I think. And put some up, and the old subscribers started to grow, and I thought, oh, so then suddenly when I had my first like 100 subscribers, you're kind of like, oh, there's 100 people waiting for me to post a video. I've got to do a video. You know, I can't let them down.
Yeah.
Not like I let them down at the moment.
It's a tough market to crack, I find. YouTube, trying to get them subscribers in. It's a slow process, isn't it? Well, yeah, not for everybody, but I find with myself, unless you're hammering them videos out sort of every single week or every other day, it can seem
Yeah.
like it's taken forever. But I think yours is doing well, mate. What you at now, like
It's
1700?
just over 1700. That's 700.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
whatever.
fantastic, buddy.
But,
And I
oh yeah,
say
and I'm well pleased. Like you do it when you hit a milestone, like when you those hundreds go up. Well, as you know yourself now, mate. And then when you hit that 1,000, and you think, oh, I can put links on there now and do other stuff you can't do until you got 1,000 and all that. And,
yeah.
And then. But like my missus was always saying to me and my daughter as well, you've got to put videos out regular day if you're going to like properly do this. And initially, when you've got lots of you can film, you do. But I've got to the stage at the moment, though someone did make a sort of request to me today about something completely different to do with plastering that I could film. Is you film so much of me doing this, me doing that, me doing something else, me talking about this tool, that tool, until you kind of think, well, what can I put up? Like today's job, I was bonding and skimming the ceiling. Tomorrow I'm going back to skim the walls, and I've got videos of me doing all those things. So you think there's nothing really there I can film, and when you try and obviously crack a job out, you think, well, I don't want to stop now and go, well, actually, I'm going to film this little alcove in this guy's house, and I'm going to do something a bit different with it and film it because you're just trying to bash the job out.
Yeah. Do you find it hard filming and trying to meet your deadlines on the job and filming at the same time? Because that's something that I seem to struggle with a little bit, is fine, because it does take a hell of a long time to film and then go through editing, doesn't it?
Yeah, if I'm under pressure on a job, like it's a majorly big job, or I've got any kind of pressure from the client to get something finished, then if it comes out of the choice of the two, and I think, well, I'm not going to film this because I need to crack it out, and I can't keep stopping, as you know, mate, setting up the camera, turning it on, doing something, doing a bit, turning it off, making sure it don't go flat, and all sorts of stuff.
And even harder for plasterers, because obviously if any other trade can sort of put the tools down, have a cup of tea.
Exactly,
once we've got a mix on, there's even more pressure then to be on top of the camera and it. But anyway, you're doing a top job of it, bud. And
cheers, mate.
Listen, while we're on the topic of videos, I had a few of your videos playing in the background on the run up for tonight's chat, and I'll just I've watched most of them, but there's the odd one I haven't watched. And I thought I'm going to ask him about this. So I was watching one of your videos where you're hacking off browning and your PVA floating set. I thought I was getting stuck into that one.
Yeah.
And I was sort of setting up, and I looked round, and then it sort that one ended, and your next one popped up. If you sort of riding on the back of a T-Rex.
And how you do, mate? Yeah.
Chasing a bag of Easy Mix. So
you're not a proper spread if you haven't been on the back of a Tyrannosaurus.
To be fair, every spread I've ever met, he's got a solid sense of humour, and I think that's what gets us through half the jobs, isn't it?
You got to have a laugh in this job, mate. Yeah, because a lot of time jobs can be great, but sometimes they can be really stressful. Again, depending on who you're working for, or if you're working for a company or another builder, and there's a lot of pressure going on, and whatever else might be hitting the fan, and you can't. I've got to work in this environment, so you've got to have a sense of humour at the end of the day. Plus, I just enjoy messing about with videos and stuff. It's a bit of a hobby, really. So, which makes filming stuff easier from the viewpoint. You've got to enjoy it a bit at least to want to do it. Yeah. So.
And one of your videos that has had a lot of attention this week is you doing them busting out them pull-ups, mate.
On my old bar in the garden.
Yeah. So this will be a good chance for me to merge into my next question for you. You've got a background in personal training.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. 37 years behind the trial, no injuries. You've got a background in personal training. I think you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out. You probably look after yourself. And that's going to play a big part in obviously why you've not got the bad shoulders and the bad elbows and the rotor cuff issues and a lot of the injuries. Yeah, a lot of the injuries that we see, on the group. There's a lot of posts about injuries on the group. As I say, our wrists to go, our hands, tennis elbow.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest factor in your training in terms of what would you say helps you the most when it comes to plastering day in and day out in terms of training? Could you give us an idea of like, is it the core that you're doing, or is it these pull-ups?
Okay. The to start off with, for a lot of the young guys as well, but for the older guys, because like I do park runs and stuff as well, and I got into, say, the personal training malarkey. But I didn't start running till I was 48. I was never a runner, never ran, and that was a spread, obviously. But and I'd go to the gym maybe once a week, if I went at all. I was a typical join the gym and then hardly ever go, and then just go once in a blue moon, because you feel like you had to. And my missus, she started doing this like 5K walk, and she was going to turn it into a run, and I let her get on with it, mate, because I wasn't interested and not interested in running. If I'm 48, if I start running now, I'm just going to hurt myself, and I couldn't run to the end of the street for a bus without being out of breath. And I thought, how can people run for miles or kilometres or whatever when I'm out of breath just getting to the end of the road?
Yeah.
When I went with her a few times, did a bit of a walk, a bit of a run, and she was quite good at it. And I initially, mate, it nearly killed me. But at one point, we actually kind of jogged together around this 5K run. And I was just astonished at the end of it. This was only after a few weeks of doing it as well, that I managed to do it. And thought, well, yeah, okay. And but sort of long story short, the running led into me wanting to go to the gym more. One of my sisters, she used to work for YMCA fitness department donkeys years ago, and she said, I could get you on a course to become a personal trainer. And at this point, then I was 49, and it was around 2012. So the serious fitness didn't start for me till I'm coming up to 50.
Oh, okay.
So prior to that, the only injuries or issues I used to have was bad lower backache, the bottom of my back,
Right.
which was
Just from the lifting the bags all day and loading out.
I think so, mate.
On the paddle mixer. Yeah.
Yeah, all the stuff that we have to do on a day-to-day level. I mean, I never started the training because I thought it will help me in my job. Because that didn't initially cross my mind, I just thought, oh yeah, I quite like doing it as well. Even though, as a lot of guys would say, when you get in from a day's spreading, you don't really particularly.
Well, that's one of the questions, actually. One of the Trowel Talk members on the little teaser video that I did with you doing your pull-ups, someone commented and he said, the last thing I'm going to do when I've been grafting all day long, possibly injuring myself, is then go to the gym and potentially cause myself more injury. Is it a case of when you build up these muscle groups and you get that strength around them, making them strong, you then go and tackle the job, say skimming the ceiling, and you're making light work of it because you've built up them muscle groups? Is that what you say would?
Yeah, it's exactly that, mate. It is, like you mentioned earlier, it's about your core. Rather than, you can have big or small arms or whatever, but your core from basically, mostly your torso, down your back and down the front, all the muscles that are affected on the sides as well, that all comes into as a spread. Your body's twisting from your hips, you're stretching back and forth and all the rest of it. And I appreciate that. I didn't when I got home, unless I cracked on and grabbed my bag and went straight to the gym. And if I come in, have some dinner, I'm done, mate. There's no way I'm going to the gym. I kind of think,
that's because all your muscles are starting to relax, and you just want to chill out. Yeah,
you just want to
chill out. You've got to catch it before you relax. Yeah,
you've been kind of spreading all day, and you kind of think, well, this is key. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, well, you stay fit because you're a spread." But I see, going back quite a while, I was in the old calf having a fry up, which was rare for me now to go to a calf. But like back in the day, and saw a couple of plasterers in there, and one in particular, and he was such a big guy, and I don't mean big, I mean kind of like fat, for want of a better word, mate. I thought, how the hell? I don't know how you managed to spread, because I would get tired and achy.
Yeah.
And at the time, well, that was because I was a bit younger then. I was a bit overweight, but not nothing out of the ordinary. And I just thought, I didn't think you could be that big and do this kind of work. He obviously could. I don't know how hard it was for him or how hard he worked, because I never actually worked with that particular guy. I just knew on the side that he was a spread. and just thought, well, perhaps you can be that big and not have any issues, and it'd be fine. But
well, I can tell you from a bloke that's tipping almost 17 stone. I've got a bit of timber that about 17 stone at the minute.
Right,
after the Christmas turkey.
Yeah, you'd be about 6'3",
I'm a big
mate,
guy. I'm 6'1", yeah. So I'm a big lad, but it's not really an excuse. So there's timber to be shifted, my end. So I'm working on that this year, and the goal's to get down about 3 stone, because I'm all right, and I've not noticed anything. But I see guys a little bit older than me, and their knees are really playing up from jumping up and down the hop up all day. And again, you're going to get fatigued, aren't you? And you're not going to be able to keep up with the rest of the lads if you don't nip it in the bud. So although I'm fine now, at the age I'm at, I do think carrying a lot of weight and being a spread, it's going to trip you up, isn't it, and slow you down.
That puts a lot more pressure on your joints, especially like your knees and stuff. I mean, weight-wise, you wouldn't think it would affect elbows and stuff, but sometimes that can be down to you kind of your whole posture when you're working, and like spreading ceilings. You meant to have a gap like about this above your head for your elbow.
That's right,
bent at the right angle. That you don't start to get like aching in it or whatever. And it's
just from overstretching the shoulder.
Overstretching, yes. Having it stretched up too high, because you can make it, but you shouldn't be having your arm that straight when you're spreading up there. And similarly, not too low when you're doing this, and you're leaning your neck over because,
I've had it before.
It's too short, you can't.
I've had that a few times, but so when you going back to this video where you were smashing out these pull-ups, I think you said you gave your age away there. You said it was 2018, and you said that you were 56. So maths ain't my strong point, but I guess that makes you what, 60?
59 now. Got another September. I'm 60. So
September.
I wish I wasn't 60.
I've got to say, mate, well impressed though. We should start calling you bloody Eric Van Dam, I think. So going back to that phase where you were shredded, let's say, what was your typical breakfast, lunch and dinners looking like at that point? And was you still plastering full time and training?
I was. I mean, at the time when I was at my kind of peak there, I was spreading, and because the idea was I wanted to become a personal trainer and get out of plastering,
right?
Change career, because I thought I've been doing it for so long, I'd had enough. Well, I thought I'd had enough, and so that's why I qualified for it. Started doing classes. There was a couple of evenings a week I was doing classes for other people. But then having to get all my gear back into my garage, get my tools back in the motor, and then go spreading the next day. And that was, I did it for, I don't know, about a year, something like that. And I couldn't hack it. And then I got an issue, something to do with my inner ear, and I lost my balance, and that sort of stitched me up for about a year. I could still work and stuff, but I thought I can't do train other people and be a spread, So, and I thought, at the end of the day, spreading's my bread and butter. And years ago, being a personal trainer was like a good thing, but now they're 10 penny. There's personal trainers everywhere you look. If personally, I wouldn't think that was a good career to get into now compared to plastering. But and my drive was I watched some guys doing the calisthenics. I think probably on YouTube, and had to go in a friend's gym, and had a guy there that was doing this calisthenic stuff, and he did stuff I'd never seen before, and I thought, flipping hell, that's impressive. And even a couple of things you think, oh, that'd be quite easy, and then when you try it, you think, wow, that you can't get anywhere even near it, let alone And so I thought, you can't be. Are you too old to crack this kind of thing when you're 50 upwards? And actually, about 53 then, and I thought, no, I'm going to age. The old age is just a number, and then I went for it, and I discovered as well, a lot of no matter what kind of size you are, you can be really strong, and not. I mean, and all your muscle can be covered over with a layer of fat. Obviously, if there's an awful lot of fat, that's gonna be a disadvantage to you. But basically, you can be like quite a big guy that doesn't look particularly aesthetically like a bodybuilder or whatever, But,
like Tyson Fury, for example. Yeah.
He's as strong as a, just trying to be careful not to swear, mate. But yeah,
but it's a bunch of plasterers anyway, isn't it? We've heard it before.
I'm just worried who else might I'll watch it later. But it's only.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. Yeah, I think there was that guy that beat Anthony Joshua, weren't there? The little Mexican, Andy Ruiz. I mean, he walked out into the ring and people laughed at him, didn't they?
Yeah,
he looked like I mean, to look at him physically, you just it was laughable. And then you got Anthony Joshua there, who's like a Greek god. And then he absolutely battered him, didn't he? So
exactly that, mate. And I've seen a personal trainer do that as well.
Yeah.
A friend of mine he thought he would get into boxing, and he came up went to watch him do this boxing match, and Elephant and Castle, I think it was, and this again, it was a big fat bloke came out compared to me mate, like who's like 6 foot something and built like a brick shit house. And this guy knocked me mate out in about second round, and you kind of think, well, but yes. So from that viewpoint, you can be really strong, which is the idea with the training side of it. And when it came to work and stuff, I say my back got better, and I've never had an issue with it since. And I could only put it down to the fact that that by building up your core and your strength, especially in your back, as a spread, your back can be a major problem, and because everything else, of course, is attached to your torso and your core. If you have any problems with that, when you try and compensate because your back's hurting the way you move around, then that could possibly be giving you issues with your elbows and your shoulders,
right?
Because they're compensating where where your back's kind of like giving out. So when you were training back then, was you focusing specifically on your core? Yeah, because calisthenics is what I got into, which was basically all body weight training. Like I'd be in a gym, I pick up a couple of small dumbbells that wouldn't impress anybody, but it's basically all body weight, no weights involved. So what I particularly liked, which is another thing from a motivational point of view, I enjoyed, still do now, being able to go into a gym, young guys there, can't do what I do, maybe bodybuilders, a few of which are mates of mine, I've done something, they've gone, oh wow, that's impressive, and then they try it and they can't do it, and that motivates
they're just
me.
Focusing on their arms and legs all day and their shoulders and their chest.
I mean, they look like they should be able to do the same stuff, but they can't, because it's a bit. So you can look fantastic and not particularly be strong. Your muscles be strong. You can aesthetically look great and be really weak. I knew another guy that was a plumber friend of mine, quite a stocky bloke, not particularly muscly, and some guy came labouring for him one day, and he was built like, big muscles and all that. And me plumber mate, like they were carrying gear up and down into this room, and plumber mate, absolutely fine. This big geezer couldn't hack it. He was kind of like, oh, hang on, mate. Yeah, I can't. Let me get my breath back. And you think, bloody hell, mate, you look like you should be flying with against my mate. And my mate's there, So, and that is, I think, it's just important when you're doing a physical job. But I completely understand people that think, well, look, I'm slogging at it all day. I don't want to go in the gym when I get home. I mean, if you really hate it, then why would you won't force yourself to do it unless you're thinking ahead. My thoughts ahead were, if I'm lucky enough to live to be an old man, I don't want to be an old man that's just about walk along, worried about falling over with a Zimmer frame. I want to be an old man that's upright and just like legs it down the road, old man, and then die.
Absolutely.
But when you're younger, or even sort of midway there, you don't tend to worry ahead. I've only noticed I'm getting older, you start worrying more ahead. You think, it'd be nice to be old, but who wants to be old and decrepit? You want to be old and fit. You can, if you need to keep spreading, as I probably will be.
And myself.
You need to have that fitness as you get older to be able to keep at it and not go, well,
absolutely,
that's gone, I can't do it.
Because we're flat out, aren't we? From the second we get out of that van in the morning.
Yeah.
Especially yourself especially yourself working as a sole trader. where
Yeah.
you know, you're doing your own, you're picking up your materials and you're doing your own loading out and your own prep.
Yeah.
You're doing your own labouring, and then you've got the big clean up at the end, all on your own.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of physical graft, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So,
for me,
I mean,
right.
anything that we can do to make our life easier and reduce them injuries, it's got to be a good thing, isn't it? So when you were training, then what did your diet look like? What sort of food was you gobbling down?
Well, what
Was it a case of like loads of chicken, loads of protein, or?
it's kind of the classic stuff, but you can get fed up with eating chicken and God knows what else. On you know, like I said, I don't know if you saw it when I put that video up. I sort of said I'm gonna, because I had a kind of a fitness channel, but again I only put a couple of videos on it. I didn't really do anything with it. But on the fact that there might be a bit of an interest for it, I'm going to stick a few more videos up there, including like a dietary one I'm going to do. Well, I've already filmed it about, you know, the cooking and stuff, and what you can have, and the kind of technique that I would use. And the last kind of like shred, if you want to call it that, or to drop weight, it's a case of this particular diet. Because people think, you know, diets have to be boring and it's the same, and lettuce and all that kind of malarkey. But you see if you ever watch this one, what's involved. But it's a case of making these sets of meals where, say for example, for a week, I'm going to have, I like porridge. Okay, some people don't. So I'll have porridge for breakfast every morning for 7 days. At lunchtime, you have to pre-prep it, is I'll do 5 or 7 lunches, all exactly the same. Might be like chicken sausages, beans, bacon, and an egg in the old pot. And put them in the fridge, 7 of them. So when it comes to, I either grab that in the morning, shoot off to the job, or if I'm at home because it's the weekend, do the porridge in the morning, and when it gets to that kind of lunchtime thing, think, oh, I get a bit hungry, think, I want lunch, and it's already done as well because you've already done it. Whip it out of the fridge, whack it in the microwave, shove it down, lovely. And then you also
that's also gonna prevent you from running out to Greg's at lunchtime on the job.
Exactly, and
because you're getting starving because you've already got that pre-prepared, ready to go. Whack it in the microwave, and you haven't got to think, because that's half the battle, isn't it? When we're spreading away, if we haven't prepped our lunch, the chances are we're going to just nip to the chippy. Mate. Yeah, we're going to run to the chippy, or we're going to run to Greg's.
Sandwich, brown sauce,
that's right.
Red sauce.
Yeah, we'll go and get a full English.
Yeah, so you do that, and you say like you did like a curry, a chicken curry with some rice and some other bits in there, and some banana and whatever, and you do 7 of them. So it's all exactly the same meal. So for 7 days, you are eating exactly the same thing at lunchtime, and you are eating exactly the same thing in the evening. But then the following week, you could do something different for the whole. And it's quite easy if you've got it already prepped and it's nice, and it's already cooked, you ain't got to fuss about, to be able to come in and go and just grab your dinner and whack it in the microwave and eat it. You know, 7 days.
You're going to save time on the job as well, aren't you? Because you're not nipping out all the time.
Well, exactly,
so your lunch break shrinks down to 20 minutes or half an hour rather than 40 minutes. So you become more efficient as well. Do you find when you're doing the training that and you're eating right and you're doing your training, do you find that it reduces fatigue on the job? So if you've got a big hit, like you're doing a big ceiling, compared to somebody that's not doing any training, do you find that you're in and out and you're not really feeling it when you get home, or are you still equally as tired?
I mean, you still get tired, but I think the fitter you are, like physically, then the less fatigue you are going to feel, basically, at the end of the day, after you've had a slog. Yeah, you'll still be tired, but are you just tired, or are you coming home tired and your shoulders hurt, your arms hurt, your back hurts? I mean, I come home knackered, but I don't come home aching.
Right, that's the difference, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've been doing like heavy materials, say I've had a run of dot and dab, or we've just been doing a load of sand and cement, I will start to feel it on my elbow. I don't know about you. You know, from the scooping out, from morning till night, scooping out.
Scooping I had no problems with. It's only if I've ever had to really try doing it. It's quite a while back now. It was a really big hit on the lid, and the stuff started to go. And I think the gear was off, and I thought I don't want to start this again. I've got to get this. I've got to get this right. And I was I had to push so hard to trowel it up. I was going over it and over it, and afterwards my elbow was like burning basically.
Yeah.
And the wrist as well was aching, and you had the typical kind of scratches on the top of your knuckles from giving it some from the shaft pushing on your hand.
Right.
And
So it's like that repetitive strain, isn't it? It's doing the same action over and over and over and over and over. But that'll bring me on to my next question for you, which is
yes, mate.
Tools, plastering tools that you've found help you to reduce fatigue on the job. With all this new kit that's coming out, it's all designed to help us as spreads, isn't it? It's all designed to make our life easier. What would you say your top tool is, or top number of tools that have come out recently, say over the last 10 years or whatever? What has helped you the most in your day-to-day working life as a plasterer?
Right, well, to be perfectly honest with you, I've been a traditional spread up until regards, what you use to lay on and trowel up. No Speedskins. Speedskins and any other fancy stuff I use now, I've only been using for the last 2 years. So prior to that, my spreading would be like a lot of the older spreads say, I didn't say I don't need that stuff. My working was like, first coat goes on, second coat goes on, like flatten it out, trowel it up, bit of water, trowel up again, give it a hard trowel, all with the same trowel, no flexible trowels, no Speedskins, no nothing. And I've done that for the majority of those 37 years was like that.
Right.
It's literally only been the last couple has been the Speedskins, and I absolutely love them. From the fact you can whack on your first coat and basically get the thing practically flat, all but for a few lines, and just gives you so much time then to kind of chill and think, okay, on to your next step, or might even have a sandwich, mate, while I'm waiting for it to pick up. Whereas before you'd be trying to get it as flat as you can with the trowel, and then not really get it like flatten it out properly until you're putting your second coat on.
What size Speedskin do you use, mate? You use a 1200?
Mostly. I mean, the first one I bought was a 900 plastic. Then I bought the 900 metal, and then it dawned on me that it'd be better if that was a bit longer. So when I had some money, I went splashed out on the 1200. And I mostly use the 1200 now, but because I've only got a metal blade on the 900, then anything I'm doing when it gets to the water part, and I need the metal blade one, I'll use the 900. Drop back down to that, but I don't know if you can get. I assume you can get a 1200 metal blade, because I've not looked. I'm not sure.
I think you can. Yeah, we just use the blue blades. We just use the blue Speedskins. I did find I've got a short 600 metal blade, but I'll be totally honest, I don't get on with it at all, and just can't find. I don't know whether I need to break it in and wear it in, or round the corners off a bit and give it a bit more time.
Is it an ox Speedskin or a different type of spat?
It's an Ox 600 Speedskin metal blade, yeah. And we use it here, and if you've got like a large pocket where the electrician's chiseled out or something like that, then we'll use it as a little rule, or it'll come in somewhere. But in terms of troweling up with it, I'm just not getting on with it at all at the minute. I much prefer the blue blade. 600 metal blade. Right,
because that's shorter again, isn't it, than the plastic ones you're using. Because I've only ever had the 900. I think the 600 is probably a bit too stumpy for
that could be
like the watered down trowel. I reckon that might make a difference, mate, because I only use the metal blade literally once I'm at that stage where I'm putting spraying water on it, and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to hit this now with the metal blade. I go up, go down, left, right, like you do with the plastic one. And for me, it's working like a big two-handed trowel. And I love how much it flattens it out, and then I'll just finish it off when it's picked up that little bit more with a flexor trowel at the end. But I definitely recommend that if you've only got a 600 to get a 900 metal blade and have a go with that.
These Speedskins, they're like Marmite on the group, I think, because a lot of the older spreads, they sort of turn their nose up at them all these.
I don't like them, mate. It's not proper plastering.
Because I think it might be a case of they'll see it where it's been misused, and people are trying to finish with them, whereas they're not really designed for that, are they? You give your work a quick flatten off with the pole. So you lay on, quick flatten off with the pole, have a cup of tea, and then you're back on your Marshalltown, or you're back on your whatever tool, whatever trowel, Neela, whatever trowel you like to use. But me and Matt did too today, and it for us it creates an extra cup of tea. That's why we like using them, so we can chuck on, we put the kettle on, then and we just walk about with the 1200 ml speed skin, and it takes out that repetition, doesn't it, with the trowel?
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah, it's so much less back and forth you're having to do with your elbows and your shoulders again, which is why when the guys talk about saving your joints by using a speed skin, that's basically all they're saying. They're not saying, oh, it's a much better job if you use a speed skin. Not saying that at all. They're saying, well, look, if rather than do like 5 sweeps with your elbow, with a trowel that's 16, 18 inches long, why not use something that's like 900 long?
Yeah.
And give it a flatten out or a level out using that, and it's far less, far less elbow treatment, and which then saves the elbows over years.
Are you a stilt man, Eric, or hop up man?
Well, stilt man, mate. I've had my stilts for absolutely donkeys now, but I've only ever had one pair. I mean, to be honest, I could probably do with some new padding. There's no padding in them anymore. I just rely on the old trousers, but I mean, they were good ones. They were like Dura stilts. I think they're about 400 and something quid. But I've had them for 25 years at least.
Yeah.
And I think one of the springs might have snapped on it, but I've got so used to walking on them, doesn't matter if the springs work or not.
Yeah. Because it makes such a big difference, doesn't it, compared to using a pair of steps or hop up.
Stilts was a game changer for me when I finally got something, because I used to have to deck out to do it properly. I used to have to deck out a room with proper scaffold.
Yeah. Just so you can properly cross trowel it at the end.
Yeah, to be able to walk up and down. You think, well, you can't do that off a ladder.
No.
You can do the ladder and 2 ladders and a plank, but then you've got to walk down it, move the ladder, move to 2 ladders and the plank along a bit, get back on it again, and you kind of think, but being able to put on, and then if I did the whole scaffolding, then you had to take the whole lot out again once you finished the lid before you could start hitting the walls. Of course, with stilts, you whacked them on, make sure your gear's up nice and high so you can reach it. That's when I started mostly taking stuff out of the tub instead of pouring it out, because I found, well, if you can just put the tub up on the stand, mix it up in there, whack your stilts on, and it's at the right height for just dipping down into the bucket and laying it on. Then, especially when you're working on your own, then you ain't got a labourer to like empty it out and clean it while you're spreading it. You've got to do the whole lot when you're on your Todd. Yeah. And completely forgot what point I was going to make there, mate.
Yeah, just on about the up and down the steps. It's going to save the knees, isn't it? Yeah. It's going to save the knees, isn't it?
Saves the knees. So you put your stilts on, do the ceiling, take them off, hit the walls. It's a quicker, well, in my opinion, because years of using them, rather than messing about.
I mean, being a tall plasterer, I've tried the 18-inch Dura stilts, and I just did not get on with them at all. I was like a Bambi on ice, and I found that because we're mostly domestics. Yeah. I found that your average 8-foot ceiling, I was too high. So what was happening is I'd end up like with a bit of a creak neck. Yeah. So they're having a damaging effect really. So I sort of bought a pair, used them a few times, didn't get on with them. Yeah. Then we're back on the hop ups, but then obviously these work tool boots popped up. So me and Matt just use work tool boots now.
You use those all the time now, don't you?
Yeah, because it gives us the foot, and they say ceilings are 8 foot, and we're tall anyway. Obviously, if you're short or spread, then they're not going to work for you. But I think anyone that's pushing 6 foot or over, the work tools are bang on. But I know you mentioned you've seen some 15-inch Dura stilts that I don't know if you remember, you sent me a link to some.
Yeah, you can't adjust them. They're very short, but they're fixed at that height. So because initially I didn't want to get a big pair of stilts because I'd never walked on stilts, let alone plastered on them. And when I looked at them and thought, but if the ceiling's a little bit too high, they ain't going to be any bleeding good.
No.
But no. And like I say, I think for me the old boots on some ceilings, I'd be overstretching.
Might be too short. Yeah.
But like you say, mate, if you're 6'1" or 6, some guys 6'2", 6'3", and you think, you can't put on a big pair of stilts because you'll be like,
yeah, exactly,
So
it's not going to work out, is it? So
no.
Right, I won't take up too much of your time, buddy, because time's ticking on. But I've got one more question for you, and that relates to obviously, we're big on the apprenticeships and stuff like that, and I've been Fix Radio chatting about bits and pieces.
Yeah, I heard that, mate. It was great.
Yeah, nice one. Appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, well
so we know that there's a skills shortage.
Yeah.
We know that kids ain't coming into the trade. They're not choosing trade, not just plastering, but they don't seem to be choosing any trades, do they? Not enough, anyway. So, you know, the older spreads are retiring and they're not getting a chance to pass down them
not
skills.
getting replaced.
In your opinion, what do you think would help to encourage more kids into plastering? Is it a case of, do we need to be going around schools and demonstrating and handing kids a trowel and letting them have a little go? What do you think would help, mate?
I know you mentioned that, mate. That sounds like a flipping good idea.
It's not a bad idea, is it?
No, because when you brought that kind of thing up before, I've had to think to myself, how can you encourage them? Because so many kids today sort of like, they want to be famous for doing nothing, or just for the sake of being famous.
They all want to be YouTubers, you see, don't they?
They want to be flipping YouTubers. Who wants to get into YouTube? Like,
it's YouTube's fault. It's YouTube's fault.
So I blame YouTube for the decline in the plasterers coming into the trade or any other trades. But like I said on the old the news about the lack of tradesmen was by like 2024, I think they said 2025. There's going to be a massive shortage because there's not enough youngsters coming into the game, and which is kind of great for the old boys while you're still working. But like I say, it's not replenishing in new spreads or new tradesmen. And but the kind of suggestions you're having, it's letting guys know, younger guys, that one, that there's good money to be had, because let's face it, they all want some spending dosh.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
And promoting that fact, but if they don't know nothing about plastering, I mean, when I first went with a mate of mine and watched him plaster, I'd never seen a guy plastering before, and I was like fascinated by it. I mean, and I think a lot of younger guys, they hear about plastering, but it's not for us. We're used to it because we're all spreads, and we go, oh yeah, this and that, and that's how it works, blah blah blah. And some guys are into the DIY, but most youngsters haven't got it. Plastering. You say, well, what's plastering to a youngster? They'll go, well, hopefully they can tell you it's the stuff that goes on a wall. Some of them might not even be able to tell you that. But if they realised what was involved, the fact it's quite a pack of job. I loved it when I started, and but like you say, it's getting that knowledge to the kids. So something along the lines that starts off with what you were just suggesting back just then, mate. And it's finding a way to do that. It's got to be
a good idea. Yeah, if you've got a young guy or a young girl that's, say, they've got a natural flair in woodwork or metal work and they're really good with their hands, it wouldn't hurt to. I'm just reading some of the comments now. Apologies, guys, because you've been commenting away. It's Eric's fault because he's got a white T-shirt on and white wallpaper.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Your comments are coming up in white writing. So I'm like this trying to read, but I can make one out. Francesca Palmer's just. Yeah, I do. I'm getting old, mate. That's what it is. Francesca Palmer, she's said the same thing. It's about getting some experienced tradesmen and women into schools and into colleges to demonstrate what it's all about, and maybe give these kids an idea of what's going to be involved day in and day out. Marcus is there as well. Oh, yeah, Marcus, hope you're doing well. While I'm here, I'm going to give a big up to Marcus and also Mark Neeson. He's helping me sort you lot out on Trowel Talk. Marcus Bowen,
moderators, mate.
Yeah, and also Mark Neeson. Big shout out to you guys. Thanks ever so much for what you are doing on the group.
Yeah, and can I also
go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say for Mark as well, Mark Neeson. Cheers, mate. He comes to after plaster on a Monday night. He went, "Oh, see you tomorrow night," and I went, "Oh, mate, how can?"
Yeah, he's loyal. He's there every week. I pop on there as and when I can, but I've sort of split it. You know what I'm like? I've got a bunch of kids and then the business and, doing the Trowel Talk. So I'm spinning plates and then I don't know what day I'm on half the time. And then I think, oh, it's Monday, Eric's on. And I'll jump on there and I'm always seeing Mark's always on there. So big up to you, mate, for being a loyal follower of Ask the Plasterer.
Any of the other guys that do come along to that, I just on a regular basis, I just want to thank you for putting up and having to listen to me for because it goes on for about an hour and a half, and there's generally about the most people on there at one time are about 21, 22 people. And but it tends to stay around that figure, and I'm thinking it's either new people coming in, or it's all the regular guys literally staying on the thing for like an hour and a half.
It's a brilliant show, mate, to be fair. It's a brilliant show. I think we're not doing too bad. We've got 14 watching us at the minute, so we're not doing too bad for the first little live stream. Anyway, listen, Marcus Barron, we're on about Marcus. He's asking you, let me see if I can read that. My grandson wants to come and work with me. How about your grandchildren, Eric? Would you ever have one of your grandkids joining forces with you and becoming your new apprentice, Eric?
Well, I've only got one at the minute, and she's only 3.
That's all right. You can get her on the paddle mixer, can't you? Give her a little step.
There is a good possibility, mate, that when she is old enough to do some spreading, I will still be spreading.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping my daughter Lola jumps on and might do a little bit, and if not, I've got the boys might do it. I've took Bradley and my eldest.
You got 3 or 4?
I've got 5. I've got 5. I've got 4 boys and a girl.
How'd you do it?
I'm hoping out of. Well, I've had to sort of herd them out of the house tonight and send them to Nando's. Say, look, go and get something to eat.
Quiet.
They don't run in and cause chaos as we're doing the live stream. But I'm hoping one of them might get involved with the trade. But I took my eldest Bradley into work with me on a Saturday morning, and
How old is he?
I chucked on. He was 15 at the time. He's 17 now.
Yeah.
I chucked a big lid on and 2 little returns, so I was showing off a little bit. Sort of saying, oh, this is how you do it, and he didn't come back again. He was like, no, I've seen the way you work, Dad. Going home looking like a bloody earthquake victim. He says, it's not for me, I want a clean job. So it's not for everybody, is it?
Some people just don't like getting dirty and messy, mate. They want to just wear a nice sharp suit or trendy gear, whatever the trendy gear is, like the youth like to wear today, and they think, well, I can't get me trainers, they cost me 300 quid. I can't get the plaster on me shoes. Yeah. But
like I say, I think it's a case of getting them to recognise that it is a worthy trade. You can carve out a good life for yourself as a plasterer.
Absolutely.
And it's a rewarding trade at the end of the day, isn't it? If you're going in people's houses, the house is a wreck, and you come out the front door at the end and you transformed it for them, so it still gives me a buzz.
Yeah, the job satisfaction is absolutely, like the first few extensions I did for people, and you go in, it's all block work, and it just looks like a garage basically. And when it's done, and you step back and look at it, and you go, no, this is a room, like, and I did this, and then especially when the customer comes in and go, oh wow, it looks like a proper room now. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I mean, out of all the trades, we probably don't get the recognition we deserve, really. I mean, when the new kitchen goes that's when the customer says, oh, wow. But, getting them walls right and getting the ceilings nice and plumb and getting all your beadwork plumb, that sometimes gets overlooked, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, no, we are. We are. It's a good trade to be in.
King of the trades, mate. King of the trades.
Yeah. And what was the guy that taught me the plastering? He was kind of like, oh, you got to I can't know what he said now. I tell you, well, I used to think he was a lousy teacher, because when the first ceiling I ever tried skimming, he said, he said, well, you're going to skim a ceiling today? And I went, right, okay. And he went, go on then, mix up the gear. And so I just mixed it up. It was far too runny. He didn't tell me whether it was far too runny, and he just watched me as I kind of tried to put this watery liquid on the ceiling, splashing in my face, all going down my t-shirt, and he just stood there. And then when I done it, he went, "You're obviously not meant to do it like that." And he said, "You mixed it up too thin." I said, "Why did you let me mix it up too thin?" Oh yeah,
giving it like the blow blames you, yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, he didn't tell you what to do. He'd let you do it completely wrong, and then he'd tell you what you should have done.
Oh, okay, yeah. So reverse psychology type thing.
Yeah, so it's a kind of way of teaching, but I didn't like him. I thought, why could you have told me that? I would have mixed it up thicker, and I wouldn't have had this problem. But anyway.
Yeah. So you went home looking like a bit of a melted candle that day, mate.
Absolutely terrible, mate. Yeah, absolutely terrible. I think that's probably the time I got most plaster in my eyes ever. was when I was
Yeah,
learning. Recently, it was easy, and when you're spreading first, and if the stuff's too wet, it just slips off the back of your trowel, straight in your face.
absolutely,
And,
absolutely. Anyway, listen, Eric, you've been an absolute gentleman, mate.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to plug your channel again just before we wrap up, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
plasterer.org.uk, and you've got your Ask the Plasterer every Monday. Is it 7?
Every other Monday. Every other Monday.
Every other Monday. But I often put the link up on the group anyway, so most people that are watching are going to be fans of yours. But yeah, you're a gentleman, Eric. Really appreciate you coming on, buddy. And again, guys, this is going to save as a post. So if you missed it tonight, you can rewatch it anytime. It will save as a post. And we're looking forward to getting more guests on. There's a lot of good spreads on Trowel Talk from all different areas of plastering. So get your
start with
DMs
me
in
and work your way up, Stu.
That's right, yeah. You're my guinea pig.
Exactly.
Yeah. So to be fair, you're teaching me things as well, because you do this every week, and I'm just like a complete novice to this live streaming.
Oh, you've done a great job, mate.
I wanted you to come on and hold my hand, if I'm honest. So.
You did a lovely job, mate.
Yeah, top man. Appreciate it. I'll catch up with you soon, Eric, and see you soon, guys. All right.
Thanks for that, mate.
Take
Cheers,
care, guys.
guys.
See you, mate.